Hello everyone and welcome back in this Python tutorial. Today we are going to learn how to merge two different Excel file or CSV file, and we're going to also learn how we can change the column name, and then how we can merge the data, then how we can also change some data type, um, and how we can see the data within the Python environment. So we are using Jupyter. I found most useful to use Jupyter while using Python. You can have a different experience than that, but let's get started. Okay, as we all know, the first thing we have to do is importing the library. So let's import some libraries. For this tutorial we'll be needing pandas only, but I'm going to load pandas and numpy, both the libraries. So let's say import pandas. Give it a alias or a shorter version name, so we don't have to write pandas all the time. Then import numpy as np, then run it. So you can run by clicking on shift enter. You can run it here, you can run it going to the cell and run cell, and also you have the run button on here. So now let's do the next thing. Let's load the data. So let's say reading data underscore one. I also made this video yesterday, but the font was very small. It was tough to see on the phone, so that's why I'm remaking this video. So give the data frame a name. Say df. So now you have to say pd, means pandas. You're telling pandas to read underscore CSV, and then tell the name of the Excel or CSV file. So our CSV file name is data underscore one dot CSV. Run it, shift enter. It ran properly. So now let's see what we have in our data set. So if you run df, so we have age, we have IDs, we have gender of some customers. Okay, so as you see, you have the ID, you have age. So these are all fictitious data elements. So I just made it up, giving 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Then if you select all of them and then scroll it down all the to the bottom, then it will automatically create those usernames. Okay, then you have the age and the gender. And once you have done that, if you let's do the renaming of the column. So say for example we have age and gender, right? Let's rename them. So to rename them you have to write df, the data frame that you have named it before, then you have to say rename, then you have to put it in parentheses, then you have to say columns. Okay, then columns equals, then you have to give the curly bracket or second bracket, whatever you name it. Then you have to say the current name of the column, then say age, that's age, and give the name that you want. Okay, so we will give the name as customer age underscore age. So what I'm telling Python is telling that, okay, um, age is the current name, and rename that to customer age. Okay, now if you want to change the other columns, then you have to type the column name again that you want to change. We have gender, right? Then we are telling that, hey, change the gender name to customer gender. Okay, now after that, give here a comma and say in place equals true. Once you do that, hit shift enter. So it says okay. So I think I made a mistake here. In typing the name of the column was a typo, so I have corrected that. So if anything is not to the mark, Python will give you an error. So now you ran it, it ran properly, so it has renamed the column. So if you want to inspect whether really the name were changed or not, just type df, and if you type df the data frame name from here, whatever you have given the name previously, so df, it will run it. Or you can write df dot head, then parentheses, and say shift enter. Okay, so if you do that, you will see the first 5 rows. If you want to see more rows, you can write the number, say you want to see 3 rows. If you want to see the last 5, you can write tail here. It will show you the tails, last 5 tails. Okay, so moving on, one more thing we have to perform to merge the data is we have to have a basis that on which what would be the basis that the data will be merged. Okay, so in SQL we tell it a primary key or a secondary key. So on here, our primary key for this table is ID, and we are going to join whichever ID matches with the other table. So other table means the other CSV file, right? So but before doing that, you have to tell that this is an object. This is not a numerical value. This is not a floating value or an integer. Okay, you have to tell this is an object. So let's do that. Change the name, change the type of the data. So let's say column value converted to object. Okay, so let's do that. So say df, on here you have to give the name within parentheses, double parentheses, so id equals, you have to say df again, giving that you have to give parentheses and say id again, and then after that you give it a period, and as type, now you know what would be there. Yes, whatever you want that to be converted, right? So object. Now hit shift enter, it ran properly. Now let's do load the second data set. So as you could remember yesterday, we give it a name of df2, and then you have to say, hey pandas, read the CSV file, and give the name of the CSV file that it needs to be read. So the name of the data set is data underscore 2 dot, that's a CSV file. So if you hit shift enter, so it ran properly. Now we want to see whether we are getting to the right data set. So yeah, so we got it right. So we have ID, customer name, and customer income. Okay, so we have customer. So these are all fictitious data set. I prepared it anonymously without, so from random numbers. You can type rand and then in anywhere, and then from there you can create these random numbers. So this is ID, and then this is customer initial. These are all fictitious names. This is also came from random values, and then we have the income. These are all random. Okay, we have that. Now let's do some renaming of the column name of customer and customer income. So let's rename them. To rename them, as you have seen on the previous one, that we did little bit just before, you have to rename that. So we have to say df underscore to, then rename, then you have to give it a parenthesis, and then you have to say what you want to rename. You want to rename columns. I'm so it is columns, and then you have to give it an equal sign with the curly bracket, and then parenthesis name. What was the name here? Name of customer. I'm copying that from here, so I'm not making any typo. If you make any typos, that's fine, because from there you will be able to debug. Debugging is a very important process of coding, so you should know debugging. So name of the customer, let's give that customer initial. So customer initial. Okay, and then after that we had customer income, I believe. Yep, customer income. Copy that, and then put it here, and then give it a colon sign. After the colon sign, the new name, so give that a name, say customer annual income. Okay, and after that give that a comma in place, equals true. You can try giving it a false, and then see what happens. I'm not going to do that, but you guys are welcome to do that. So now we have that. Now let's just check whether we did it correctly or not. df underscore 2, hit shift enter. Yes, it renamed the columns customer initial and then customer annual income. Okay, so let's move on. Let's do the meat of this course, how we can merge the data. If you can remember, in SQL you tell SQL, hey SQL, select this and these columns from this table, right? So select, after select you tell that the column names and from the table name, okay, from the database. So on here it is pretty similar to that, but we don't have to use select and from, rather we will give the table names to them. So on here tables are individual CSV files. Okay, so let's give comment here, data 1 and data 2 merge. So we are merging two different Excel file. So give the data frame a name, data underscore 1 underscore data underscore 2 underscore merge equals. So you have to say, hey pandas merge, merge. So you're telling pandas merge what you want to merge. give the table name. So we want to merge data frame that we have given the name before, data frame df. Just make sure we are writing it correctly. Yes, the first data frame name was df, here df, and the second data frame name was df2, right? So we are telling, hey pandas, merge data frame, and then merge df underscore 2 comma on, the same way we tell it in SQL, select from, then we give the table name. Then if we have multiple tables to join, then we say join, or left join, or right join, or inner join, whatever the join is. Then we give the name of the columns equals the name of the other table columns where they want to, on what basis they want to merge, right? So on here we have to say on, we told that we will be using id to join them, so we are giving the name of the column on what basis they are going to join. So our basis is the id column, wherever the id matches it will going to join that. So this for same for if a id matches the row, it will copy the value and put that in the same row. And then as we mentioned, how we are going to join them, on SQL, in SQL we say left join, right join, only join, right, then inner join, and all those joins, right? So on here we are going to use only a left join, so we are telling how equals left, and that's it. Let's run the data set, let's run this cell to see whether it works or not. So on here it's saying this is a invalid syntax, so it's saying how is invalid. I think I have made a mistake somewhere. Let's find a mistake. So data merge is pd, then we have df comma df2 on id, then we have how we are doing it on the basis of left. I think there might be a situation here with the spaces. Let's do that again, and I think it should work now. No, let's do that again. Probably the spacing caused the issue. Let's see, let's debug that. Yeah, I think so, the space caused the issue. Then you have to say comma, then, and it should work now. Let's see. Yep, it ran properly. So debugging is one of the major part of coding, any kind of coding. So it ran properly. Let's see whether it really worked or not. So data underscore 1 underscore data underscore 2 underscore merge, then hit enter. Yes, so you see all of them here merge together. So if you go and check your CSV files, you'll be able to see it really matched the IDs with the values in each row. Okay, now let's do one more thing. Let's align the columns. So say you are not liking customer age on here, you want the name of the customer after the ID. Okay, then you want to rearrange the column. So how we can rearrange the column? It's very easy. To rearrange the column, you need to have the name of the data frame. So say aligning columns. Okay, so we have the data frame name. This is the new data frame name. Okay, before that, before that, give this data frame a new name. Okay, say data frame underscore 3 equals, so the name of the data frame that we when we merge the data. So this was the data frame name when we merge the data. If you go back on here, so this was the name of the data frame that where we merged it. And then if you come down here and give those third brackets, and then whatever you want to have them first, just type the name of the columns. So first I want to see ID, then I want to see the customer initial. I'm copying the name of the column so I don't make any typos, then comma, then I want the customer gender, so say this is customer gender. Then after customer gender I want to see customer age, so let's go to customer age, copy that, then put it in a parenthesis, then comma, and then we have customer annual income. Okay, then we have customer annual income. If you hit shift enter, it ran properly. Okay, now let's inspect the data to see whether it worked or not, and then shift enter. Yep, we have ID, then customer initial, customer gender, customer age, then customer annual income. Okay, so we have done that properly. Now we would like to extract the data set. Okay, so to extract the data set, you have to give the name of the data frame, which is df3, df underscore 3, and then we are telling but first comment. Okay, so extracting the data frame into a CSV file. Okay, now say to underscore CSV, so df underscore 3 dot to underscore CSV, and now put it in a parenthesis, and then give the dataset a name, so data underscore 1 underscore data underscore 2 underscore merged, and then we aligned it. Let's give that a name of version 2. Okay, so once we have done that, if we hit enter, oh no, we have to say this is a CSV file, otherwise it will download that but not in a CSV file. Okay, so let's do that. It ran properly. Now I'm going to the folder wherever is my download folder is. Give me a second, I'm going there to find that out. What's the name? Data aligned merge to 228 838. Yep, so I'm bringing that up. There you go. Here is what you have merging two CSV file in one. That's easy, right? So guys, remember one thing: never stop learning.